Welcome back to the Your Girl Yaz podcast, the podcast to listen to if you're a female entrepreneur who's ready to attract more fun, more money, success, friendships, and amazing clients into your business. Thank you so much for being here, and I hope I can add some more positivity into your day in this episode. Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode on the Your Girl Yaz podcast. I am going to apologise in advance because it's literally 32 degrees in England. Who would have thought? And I am absolutely boiling. I didn't want to put the fan on because I think it would just be so loud on this podcast episode. So we're just going to roll with it. I thought I'd do a little catch up with me episode because, as a lot of you will know, if you followed the podcast or listened to episodes, I've been away for 7 months. I've been away for a very long time. Traveling, I was in Thailand, Indonesia, I was in Australia for 2.5 months. I did a big van trip in Australia for 3 weeks, and I've just done so much this year already that I'm like, oh my goodness, like how have I done all of that? And it's just absolutely crazy. And I think it just proves that whatever type of life you want, whether that is to travel, whether that is to have more time with your family at home, or, just live a different life, that it's so capable. Because I used to think it would only be like celebrities or influencers that could create that life where they could travel where they wanted and get all of these opportunities and earn really good money, when actually, if I'm proof that I've done it from the age of 22, where, I've lived in loads of different places, I've traveled, I've experienced, I've done lots of hard things. I did an ultra marathon last year. Then what is stopping you? So I wanted to do a little catch up with me episode and just let you all know where I'm at now I'm home, and just share some experiences and things, because I think it's so nice. I love the podcast being educational. I love giving you guys everything that I'm learning and bringing you along for the rides. But at the same time, it's sometimes nice to just integrate and reflect and look at where we're at. And girl, it's been an absolute year. I just feel like I've done so much. So I first of all wanted to talk about the van trip, because I wanted to do a podcast episode in the van. And to be honest, I was actually having so much fun. And there's a few times that I tried to do a podcast episode and it didn't work out, or I had to move, or like things came up and it just didn't happen. So I thought I would first start by sharing my experience traveling as a solo traveler in a van, as a girl in Western Australia. It's always been such a big dream of mine to do that, and always been such a big dream to live van life. As much as I love my nice things and I love getting dolled up, I'm so happy just being in a van, being in nature, waking up next to the beach. And I go into most things in life with no expectations, and I'm just very open-minded, where I'll just go and give it a go. But that van trip was the most incredible memory, I think, for me this year. Like, just the most, how do I even describe it? Like, I was just so happy the whole time. And I think when you do go back to such a simple life, of course, not everything's going to be perfect. Like, there was hard times, I had a few cries, a few times where I felt a little bit like unsafe and a bit like, oh gosh. But I just look back and it was like a little portal of time. Like, I don't even feel like, I felt like I was doing it for so long. And it was just the most incredible experience. Like, I did a skydive on my own, and it was so funny because I just booked this skydive on my own in this random town called Jurien Bay, which was absolutely beautiful. And I picked up my van. I figured out how to bloody drive a van. I've never driven a van in my life. So that was an interesting experience. I went and saw something called the Pinnacles. So I did a route from Perth up to Exmouth, and the Pinnacles was just amazing. So they're like these like natural rocks that have been there for ages. I'm really sorry, my history is so bad, I should know more. But I was meant to be there for a while, and then I had a message from the skydive company saying, could you come today? I was meant to go the next day and just have a chilled first day on the van trip. And then they sort of threw me in the deep end. They were like, could you come today? Because the weather's not that great tomorrow. And I was like, well, I can be there in an hour. So I turned up to this skydive place on my own. And they were like, are you doing this on your own? And I was like, yeah. And they were like, have you got any friends or family here to watch you, or just on your own? I was like, yeah, just on my own. And they were like, right then. And I was the only person doing a skydive at that time. So they took me up in the plane, and they had other guys that were doing it to like do testing. I think they were training to be instructors. But to be honest, I was just so excited. And for me, that was such a moment of growth of like, me a few years ago could have never done these things on my own. Like, I think she would have been so scared. And it was just such a special feeling, the fact that I just went and did a skydive on my own, jumped out 15,000 feet of a plane. And it was just the most magical experience. Like, I do feel like when you put yourself out there, you do get rewarded, because it was just the clearest day. My instructor was lovely. I had I just loved it, to be honest. I feel like I am a bit of an adrenaline junkie. Like, I love roller coasters. I love doing scary things. Apart from mazes. Oh my gosh. I was a nanny in Australia. And when I was in Australia, I had a little day out with one of the kids I used to be a nanny for. And she took me to this theme park, right? It was a kids' theme park. And she was like, Yaz, please, can you go in that maze? It was like a horror maze. I can't really do horror. It just scares me. So I went in this maze for her. She didn't want to come in. It was just me. And I literally had to run out, because the first thing they were playing that song that's like, tiptoe through the window. And one of my mates in Australia would always play that to scare me whenever we'd meet up. So it just terrified me. And then I had these like zombie people chasing me around. And that, for me, I can't do it. But anything like adrenaline, I love. So going back to the skydive. Anyway, the time that was the scariest for me was literally when I was like, my feet were dangling out and I was like, oh my gosh, there's no going back now. And you just like, yes, the instructor just pushes you out and you're like, oh my gosh. And then it's really fast until they pull the strings and then you're flying in the air and it's amazing. But just even doing it was such a like mic drop moment for me, because I've always wanted to do a skydive. And I remember when I was younger, or a few years ago, I listened to a podcast by James Smith. He's like a PT. You probably have heard of him. He's like one of the first like, influencer PTs. I've always liked him. And he was saying like, okay, he got to like his mid-20s, he set up this amazing business, he'd done all of these things he wanted to do, like a skydive, and ticked all of this stuff off his bucket list. And I feel like I've had that sort of moment where I was like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe I've just done everything that I've always wanted to do, like doing a skydive. Since such a young age, I got into network marketing really young from my mum, and they very much preach like the freedom lifestyle, like earning money on your laptop. And from like 17, I was very much like, I want to earn money on my laptop. I want to be able to travel. And at the age of, I just turned 25, and it was such a mic drop moment for me. Like, fuck, I've made it. Like, I have just traveled on my own for 7 months, fully funded by my business, being able to grow my business whilst I am living my life and experiencing, and did a skydive that was paid for through my business. Like, obviously, just done all of these things that I can't believe it. Like, I think I still need some time to just integrate that I've just got back from the most incredible trip ever, being able to just have that freedom. When I stayed in hostels a few times, or I met people along the way, and they remind you of how lucky I feel to have this freedom. And after a career in sales for 6 years, where I was on the phone every single day, I was selling life insurance, I was selling magazines at one point, I was working for a wedding marketplace, I worked for a, what's it called, booking app. So I've done a lot of different jobs, and that's just in sales. I've also worked in as a nanny, I've worked in cafes, pubs, done a lot. So now being able to absolutely run the business of my dreams and create my dream life is just insane. And I know it never would have happened if I didn't believe in myself when no one else did. So this is your sign as well, if you're listening. Like, don't ever let anyone tell you that your dreams are too big. Don't ever let anyone tell you that something that you want to do deep in your heart is not right, or that you can't do that, because why not? Like, why can't you do that? I think it's so special being able to use all of these experiences myself as an example now. And I actually had a call with one of my clients earlier, and she was like, how do you start doing hard things or doing things on your own, Yaz? Because it seems like you're so good at it. And you just have to start. Like, it didn't start with me just doing a skydive and traveling the world on my own. It started with me making really hard choices and getting out my comfort zone at a very young age. At 16, I decided I wanted to start a career in sales, and I went into a big London office and started working at such a young age in this big office. And I've always tried to do things to get out my comfort zone that maybe I'm not ready for, or maybe other people around me aren't doing yet. And I think it's so powerful, and I'm so grateful that from such a young age I've done that, because when you are that person to sort of set the bar, or you just like, right, I'm just going to do that no matter what anyone else thinks, then you just learn so much. And not saying that everything's always good, I've learned a lot of different lessons in lots of different ways, but I will always show up for myself, and I will always just be that person to say yes and be sort of that leader in things, of like, running my retreats. Of course, running a retreat for 10 girls in Spain is scary, and it's new and just lots of different emotions. But at the same time, I am such a big believer that I just know it's going to be the most magical thing, because I'm putting so much time and love into it, and I am investing in high quality people to come along, and high quality experiences for all the girls, and I really want them to have the best. So when you have that sort of mindset where you really want the best for other people and yourself, then you're going to do amazing things, and you're going to have amazing results, because you're coming from a place of love. So yeah, I'm really excited for the retreat. I've been spending lots of time this week planning it and getting everything ready and just sort of integrating, and yeah, it's just going to be so special. But going back to traveling, then having that 3 weeks in the van, I just learned so much about myself. I learned a lot of, like, I can do hard things. I can, there's so many like things that I'd always rely on, like my dad or my brother, like car stuff. I'm rubbish of cars, but I had to just put my big girl pants on and learn how to do van life and how to cook out of a van and everything like that. And I had so much fun. I met the most incredible people along the way and traveled with them for a bit, and I just had so many amazing experiences, and I just would not have been able to do all of this without my business. Like, the fact that on the move I can still make money and live my dream trip and help my dream clients was just amazing. Like, sometimes I was working in car parks, sometimes I was working near the beach. Oh, that was amazing. There was one point in a place called Calbari, and I was literally pulled up watching all the surfers doing calls, enjoying the sunset, and it was just amazing. So I've just had so many magical, amazing memories, and I just can't stop smiling thinking about this trip. And even in Australia, getting to go back and live my dream. Like, yeah, the first time I was in Australia, I was setting up my business. So I didn't have a lot of money to do trips, or I had to say no to quite a lot, because I was so tunnel vision. I'm like, I need to pour all my energy into setting up my business. It does take a lot of hard work. It takes grit, it takes determination and sacrifices. So I'd made all those sacrifices. I'd done a lot, and the last chapter for me was about saying yes, about celebrating the success of my business, having that time to really celebrate what I've built over the last 2.5 years. And I think it's so important to do that. And I think otherwise you just are on this conveyor belt of always feeling like you need to do more and grow, and very hustle culture. And to be honest, I just wanted to be 24 and say yes and experience life, and I've done that. Like, in Australia, it was so much fun. I went back to Noosa, where I used to be a nanny, and I made the best friends there. So I went and saw loads of my friends, and I was feeling a little bit tired because I'd just spent so much time moving about and traveling. So I spent 7 weeks or 6 weeks in Noosa and had so many amazing memories of all my friends, and it was just such a special time in my life and business. And then from there, I was able to go to Perth and see my best friend, who I left England with for the first time, and saw my brother, and just made the most amazing memories. So that Australia chapter was just incredible for me. And going back to, leaving England again in January, oh my gosh, it was so scary leaving England again and deciding, like, I'm going to go off on my own now and bringing my business on the move. I had so many fears around, is everything going to work out? Is it all going to be okay? But it honestly couldn't have gone better. Like, being able to travel Thailand again. I literally was just such an island gal. I was on islands for like 3.5 months in Lombok, in Bart, like near Indonesia, in Thailand. I was so lucky that so many of my friends were in Thailand in January. So I was able to make so many memories with people that I love. And same in Lombok, I didn't really know anyone, but one of my best friends came to visit me for 3 weeks, and we had the absolute trip of a lifetime. Like, we just, oh, it was an absolute ball. She works online as well, and she was actually one of my clients and has become one of my bestest friends in the world. We have the same birthday. We've just really have such a special relationship. And she flew all the way to Bali to come see me, and I met her in Bali after doing a fitness retreat. So I mean, guys, I've just done so much. I did a fitness retreat as well, which was amazing, and then I met my friend in Bali, and then we had a few days in Bali because it was Nepis, which is a silent celebration in Bali where everyone is silent and they all switch off and have that time with family to sit and reflect. So she flew in on that day, so we had a quiet day, and then the next day we flew to Lombok, which was just incredible. Like, it's such a special place, and it's a place that's really special in both of our hearts. And we just had the best time. Like, we'd wake up. The first villa we stayed in, we were meant to just have a hotel, and they upgraded us to our own villa where we had a WhatsApp group with the staff, and we were able to just message them what we wanted, and they would just bring it to our rooms, like coffees, lunch. So we just created this amazing bubble together where we would wake up, we'd have our coffees, do our journaling, have a little chill in the morning. Then we'd go to this gym. We went to this like beautiful bamboo gym that was just absolutely incredible. Then we'd go to a nice cafe, have breakfast, or like a little brunch. Then we would do some work in the afternoon, have calls, clients, just have like head down focus time. And then in the evening, we'd go out every night. We would go and have dinner and then go for a little drink and just celebrate ourselves and have so much fun. And I honestly feel emotional thinking about that time because we just celebrated. And I think it's so important. I think in your 20s, you're seeing two sides of life. You're seeing people that are hustle culture, go for it, work really hard, run your business, blah, 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 blah. And then you see in the other half of people like, don't work, just slow down, rest. We don't want you to burn out. So it's really confusing to know what to do. And it's very like, I think I've gone through stages where I've had to like make myself stay in and like just stay in, focus. Whereas I just wanted to live, man. I just wanted to have so much fun. And we did. And it just feels so nice. I feel like that chapter for me just felt like celebrating being in my 20s, because when you're running a business, you do sometimes feel like, okay, I've got a lot of responsibility. I'm working hard, everything. So it's just really, really special to have that period of time where I'm still working, still growing my business, and still really, really enjoying what I do, but at the same time, enjoying my life and saying yes to everything and making absolute memories that will last a lifetime. And everyone that I speak to has said to me, like, Yaz, you are absolutely living the dream. And I bloody am. I've really, really worked hard to create a life that I am in love with. And I am a very hard worker. I know what I want. I will take risks, but at the same time, I want to have fun. Like, I really, really want to make my life and my business enjoyable. And I think that's why I've loved having tunnel vision, because I've been so focused on building a life that I love. So I hope my last 7 months can be an example to you that if I can do it, then what is capable for you? Like, do you want to travel? Do you want to quit your 9 to 5 that's really, really holding you back and just making you unhappy? Like, it's so nice to be able to look back and think, I did it all. I had so much fun. I made all of the memories that I wanted to make and just really lived my life. So, yeah, I just could not be more grateful, especially for the people I've met along the way. Also, the people that have made the effort to come see me traveling. Like, I never expected that. I thought I was going to be on a big old solo trip. But to be honest, it's turned into the most sociable 7 months of my life. And pretty much every week I've been with friends, I've been laughing, I've been having fun, I've been making new friends, just giving back a lot where I can and just doing so many beautiful things along the way. So it also makes me feel so grateful that I have clients and people in my life that want me to live and want me to be free, because I've been thinking a lot about the evil eye, and there's so many people that don't want you to win and really have a hard time and can feel quite jealous of you having the freedom and success. And it just makes me so grateful that I've spent the last 3 years really creating a bubble and a circle of friends that are entrepreneurial or do want to create their dream lives and are ambitious, because these sorts of people want you to win. They get what it feels like to create your dream life and to have freedom. And, you know, the best advice I would give is to find those people for you. Get in circles of people that motivate you and inspire you. And from me, like hosting events and retreats and getting to know my clients on a deep level and making friends with lots of girls in their 20s that are doing the same thing. Yeah, I've really, really made the best friends. And I just could not be more grateful, to be honest, to be at this position and this point in my life. So thank you so much as well to everyone that supported me along the way. I feel like I'm doing a little speech. But yeah, it has been an incredible 7 months. And, you know, there has been times where it's been hard, or I have been moving around so much and I've just wanted my own space for a little bit. But I just come back to, like, that's what your 20s are for. Like, it's for having fun and making memories and building something special for yourself. So yeah, I'm so grateful that I get to look back and think, yeah, I did it. I've had so much fun. And this next chapter for me looks very much like working quite hard, doing very intentional work, working hard on my body, on what makes me feel good. I'm joining like a really cool co-working space in Richmond in London. So I get to have time each week where I go into a lovely space and I can be creative and have that time to work. Me and my best friend have just started tennis lessons together, and I'm going back to pole dancing. So people keep asking me how I'm settling back into English life, and I've been very lucky because it's been 30 degrees every day since I've been home, and I'm just loving it. It's been so nice to have my own space again. And, you know, I actually really enjoy being back home. It's been really, really lovely so far. So, yeah, this next 6 months for me is very much around working hard. I have my beautiful retreat coming up in September, which I'm so excited about. Next month, I'm going to a festival called Boomtown, if you've heard of it, for 5 days. So I'm so excited to just dance and laugh for 5 days. That's going to be amazing. So as much as I'm working hard in this next chapter, I don't want it to be a chapter where I'm like, no, I can't have any fun. I still want to fully enjoy my life. Like, what is the point in working really hard if you're not enjoying yourself as well and giving yourself that time for you? So, yeah, this next chapter is a very exciting chapter of balance, of working hard, of enjoying my life, of being really intentional with my time, surrounding myself with people that really light me up, and just having an absolute ball. So, yeah, I thought I would just do. I know that it's a bit of a mini episode actually, but I just feel like I just wanted to share that it's just been such a lovely period, and just letting everyone know that I'm home now. I'm really, really excited to be back. And I feel like my business always thrives when I'm in the UK, because I get to meet up with people a lot more, and, you know, just be here, be in this energy, be on the same time zone as everyone. So yeah, I just feel so happy that I've had that period. I've said yes to everything. I've ticked off all the bucket list things, and now it's time to enjoy and just integrate and just enjoy my little life. So cheers to you. Thank you so much for being part of this episode and, you know, being part of my journey of travel. And I thought it'd just be nice to close that chapter off and welcome you into this chapter. You know, I have no idea where I'll be this time next year. I always have big draws of, do I live in Australia? Do I live in England? But at the same time, it's just nice to enjoy being present and being here. And I definitely know for the next 6 months, I'm going to be at home and just enjoying my time here. And we'll see after that. I'm a very open book. I'm very open to opportunities. And, you know, you just never know what could come up. So I think it's just nice to be open to that. But yeah, lots of love. And I will see you on the next episode. Thank you so much for listening to this week's episode on the Your Girl Yaz podcast. We'll be back next Wednesday at 7 a.m. UK time, so I look forward to seeing you back here. I also have a free higher self meditation course for you to learn to meditate, to relax, to switch off, that's available for you to access now in the show notes. And also, don't forget to follow the podcast wherever you're listening, rate, leave us a review. I appreciate it way more than you could ever know. Thank you so much again for listening. If you've got any feedback of the podcast, my Instagram at Yasmin Lily Hilston is also linked in the show notes, and I really appreciate it.